All right, it is officially 11 o'clock, so I think we're going to get rolling here. Welcome, everyone, this morning to the webinar. We're super excited to have you here. Whether you're one of the 70 people that are here in person or the 120 that are signed up and will watch afterwards, we just want to thank you on behalf of Up360 and ByteSpeed. Thank you for being here this morning. We're super excited to talk to you about CareerLabsVR. And everything that we have working in this new exciting space. So jumping right in, let's see if I can get this presentation rolling. My name is Josh Knutson. I'm the VR Solutions Director here at ByteSpeed. And with me presenting, we have two lovely guests. Harrison from Up360. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, everyone.
And then we have Corinne Hoisington, who we have her picture later on in the presentation. I didn't forget you, but she's our lead VR trainer and a great resource for VR. So thanks, Corinne, for jumping in this morning as well. So, okay, let's talk about what we're going to cover today. So we'll do kind of a introductory splash into CareerLabsVR. We'll talk about some professional development opportunities and kind of an overview of the hardware. And then I wanted to keep things really, really light and, quick as far as the presentation goes, because I think we're going to have a lot of questions, and I wanted to keep a good third of our time today open so that Harrison and Corinne can really dive into those questions regarding the actual software, the PD. If there's hardware questions, I can jump in there as well. And that's really kind of what we're going to cover. It'll be short and sweet and hopefully really informational, really great. We're super stoked about the solution and kind of where we're headed. So before we jump into Career Labs, I just want to give a little bit of background about how we got here. Over the last year, ByteSpeed has really been looking at our VR solutions from a holistic view of like, what are we actually doing, what's working, and what are our partners, our schools, our high schools and colleges, what are they looking for? So, in an effort to, stay relevant and stay up to date, we're always looking at what headsets on the market are performing the best, what tech for the PCs that run those headsets, are we staying relevant? Of course, that is definitely a big focus. But more than anything, content has been something that we've really took a hard look at. Are we pushing out the resources that go alongside good content that's relevant for schools and that schools are really interested in? And, over the last year and even before that, really one thing that has always been at the forefront of the conversation is this CTE training. Before, we didn't really know of a good solution for that space. There were different things that we could make work. But really, when Up360 and ByteSpeed got together, it was kind of this aha light bulb moment of saying, wow, this is a solution that is perfect for that career and technical education and training and kind of this, exploration of what type of careers are out there. And this is something that schools have been asking us for. Different career centers have been asking us for. So I think it's super relevant, and we're really fortunate that Harrison and Up360 have kind of been such amazing partners and resources for us, and kind of showing us what Career Labs really is. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Harrison, and he's going to talk about what the software is, what the platform is, and really give you kind of that deep dive into Career Labs. So Harrison, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Josh. Yeah, I mean, before I get into exactly what Career Labs is, I think it's probably good for everybody to just have a little bit of context of how it came to be. Essentially, 3 years ago, we got approached by a super innovative employment and career center around our part of the area, and they said, hey, we heard about this new technology called virtual reality, and we think we can use it for career exploration. And that's kind of where the conversation started, and we worked with them collaboratively for the last couple of years to develop a couple of prototypes, a couple of proof of concepts, and then in the last year here, what we had built really started to take off, and we got some support from a few different government organizations and industry partners, and now we're at a point where we've kind of perfected the model of career exploration with VR, and this whole subscription-based software called CareerLabsVR. And essentially what it is it's career exploration with virtual reality, but designed in a way that is palatable for anybody, whether you're a young person or an older person transitioning careers. We didn't want to necessarily throw them into an experience where they felt like they were being formally trained and they needed a lot of technical knowledge, but we wanted to be able to give them an experience in a condensed amount of time, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, and they could come out of that experience getting a really good, true sense of what any one of these various occupations are about. And we also really wanted to start and focus on two different kind of career pathways. So one being in the trades, because it's just where right now industry is seeing that there's going to be a huge gap if we don't start pushing and showing people what pathways in the trades look like. As that demographic kind of retires out, there's going to be a lot of employers that are hurting to find people. So we wanted to be able to meet the needs there, and also trades are usually one of those opportunities that are super hard for people to experience firsthand, and not a lot of employers are going to let a 16, 17-year-old kid go into a $300,000 or $400,000 piece of equipment. So it just made a lot of sense to work in the trades, and then also look at up and coming careers and more futuristic careers as we get towards kind of manufacturing and kind of industry 4.0 with people who are working in these autonomous facilities and repairing the robots and whatnot. So we kind of have those two focuses in mind, with eventually bridging into healthcare and a couple of other sectors. But right now, as it stands, there is 10 of these career experiences available. Everything from stick welding, robotics technician, residential electrician, some of the ones there on the screen that you see, and they're designed to be about 20 minutes in length, and people can do them in a fully guided way or kind of more of a free play way. And each and every one of these experiences we build in consultation with both industry partners, people who are actually working in the field, as well as academic partners, people who are actually teaching this in colleges and universities. So that's kind of a bit of a high level highlight on what it is. We've got another 5 careers coming in June, and then every single year as a part of the subscription, we add a minimum of 4 careers. But I will say now that I think we've got another 10 after June already planned in a couple of different areas, a couple of different fields. Josh, do you want to jump to the next slide there? And I'm not sure if I have slide control or not. And maybe we'll show that quick little video of just one of these experiences. Perfect. Yeah, so this is a quick example. The video might not be playing with sound here, but I'll make sure to drop a link in the chat here for everybody to the full playlist of all 10 careers that are out right now, and then the 5 coming in January as well. And each one of these experiences are just a quick little sampler, if you will, of what that bigger experience is. And I just dropped that into the link there. So feel free to take some time and actually look at these videos and watch these videos. But really what we focus on is, again, giving people that realistic taste of a career experience and making sure that the environment looks like the real thing, and they're getting a lot of the foundational concepts, the hand-eye coordination. Certain occupations take the ability to accurately measure and do basic maths, the ability to work on an indoor setting versus an outdoor setting. A whole wide variety of kind of the core foundational concepts of a lot of these careers. And then typically what we do in the schools and in the employment centers is we wrap these careers with different activities and different workshops that the schools will put together. So whether you go in and you do some pre exercises with studying and researching the labor market information in your area, Career Labs has really been a facilitator of these conversations around what people want to do with their future, as well as an assessment tool, because a lot of times people have an idea of what a career might be or might have no idea, and then they'll try it and then they'll actually know, okay, this is what I liked about it, this is what I didn't like about it, and really to help them better understand and dissect their trail of thought and where they want to go, especially in the context of kind of a one-on-one session where you're working with one student and one career coach or one guidance counselor, and really giving them that more intimate opportunity to discuss where they might want to be headed when they get out of school. Josh, can you guys just confirm yet you got the link there in that? So yeah, everybody feel free to check that out and watch those links. And included in the subscription includes thorough manuals of every single one of the simulations, so that you guys know, even without trying them, what they're all about and how to navigate from kind of the start to finish of them. We provide you guys with marketing material and resources so that you can promote that you have it, and that you're kind of showing it off to the community and able to attract people in to try it out. And then we also provide you guys with some basic online technical training around how to actually use it from a technical perspective, but then also from an implementation perspective. So as a career coach or as a guidance counselor, how do you actually embed this into your practice and really make it a part of the whole decision-making process? And then as you can see there on screen, more careers coming out in June, and then every year, again, minimum of 4, but right now the last couple of years we've been averaging 10. We just finished off 10 this year, and next year we've already got another 10 booked in everything from the trades, up and coming careers, and really where people are going to be hurting for labor in the future. So there's a lot of discussions around the healthcare sector now, and how we can help build these career experiences to show people what it's like to work as anything from a registered nurse practitioner to potential dental hygienist or something like that. I do see a good question from Kyle in there. Are there any lesson plans with each experience? So we have worked with a couple of the groups like My Blueprint or Zello, which I believe a couple of schools use to create formal lesson plans. But there's nothing that is like set in stone that you have to use it. Typically, we'll work pretty closely with our partners to help get you guys kind of some high-level lesson plans, and then typically you want to localize it a little bit and make sure that it's tailored towards whatever program you're using it in. And additional medical careers, absolutely, we are looking at medical careers. We don't have any planned as of right now for the next 6 to 12 months. But oftentimes we get contacted by different industries, different institutions to come and actually have them sponsor larger careers. And we did have a couple of introductions over the last couple of months here. But most of our medical industry partners that we were discussing with have their hands a little bit full right now. But I'm sure as soon as things resume to the new normal, that those conversations will definitely get started up again, and most likely be fast-tracked. How the lesson plans have tied into state standards, specifically in Texas. To be totally honest, no, but Dimitri, that would be a great thing to potentially leverage some of your knowledge on and see if we can make that connection. Josh, do you want to jump to the next slide there again? And I'll hand it over and we'll do professional development, and then we can come back to questions.
Hey guys, I'm Corinne Hoisington, and I guess Josh is going to introduce me.
Yeah, everyone, we're pleased to have Corinne here with us. She's been our lead VR trainer here at ByteSpeed, and just a tremendous resource for us in the field when it comes to helping schools implement VR and kind of giving you the hands-on learning through on-site PD and other things like that. You know, we might not always be able to have that expert. Well, Corinne is our expert. So Corinne, I would love for you to talk about, kind of what your training entails, kind of what you do, and just kind of give us an overview there.
Hey guys, welcome and thanks for coming. Harrison, off the chart cool. Wait till you guys try out Up360's Career Labs. I test a lot of VR applications in the educational space, and truly, literally the best out there. Really have done a great job. So we have found that once schools really start connecting in VR, the very first step in this, after you get your hardware and decide on some apps, is really to get some professional training. For example, I and my team come out to schools face-to-face and work with your faculty and staff and your IT folks to get everything set up and ready to roll. I really see it as a turnkey, cost-effective way to really make sure the VR equipment gets used. So what do we do during a training? It's more than just, how to put on the headset, what's the safety concerns, what's the age restrictions. It's a lot more about how is it used in the classroom? What are the pedagogy? What do the lesson plans look like? What, as a classroom or a hot seat pedagogy, which means one-on-one versus having multiple headset, what does that look like? How do you set up with all the controllers and making sure the students are always our top concern with safety and pieces like that? We really, throughout the day, we do a day-long crash course in VR with as many people as you can fit into our event size. And we do best practices. And there's Up360, but Harrison and I would both tell you there are thousands of great VR apps out there. And so we would try to customize them to your different pathways and curriculum. There are a lot of good options, and what typically happens with training is I first meet with the folks through a webinar and we discuss what are your needs, what classes are you offering, or what grade levels. I mean, there are VR apps for preschool and there are VR apps for universities and everything in between. So what does that look like to really make sure that the VR equipment does not get dusty? It's all about that. And we also now have certification training. So we have the 1 day, 8-hour kind of big event. And then we also have a 2 full day certification where we have your teachers come in for 2 full days from your entire system, as many that can fit into the room. And what we do is really not just understand the basics of VR, but really dig into what are the opportunities throughout all K-12 and higher education today. And that skill and that knowledge and that retention and how it can be that a change agent in your schools today. So we now see thousands of schools across the country now using VR, and not just little cardboard box. We're talking the high-end VR systems that have really come down in price. And one other item, we're also gonna share my email address, Josh, if you wouldn't mind doing that in the chat. I want to offer everyone, we have written, if you're part of the US, we have written a grant that works through the Perkins grant, and it's all written for VR. So if you're looking at a way to get funding for VR, we've got it all written and we're more than willing to share it as well. So we also have a great website, Josh, if you don't mind sharing it, for ByteSpeed, where we share a lot of the different apps that are out there. So you can see this as your Up360 should be your go-to, but there are tons of other apps. You literally can put a few hundred, sometimes up to 1,000 based on your hard drive onto the VR computer. That way you can use it in every single class within your school. So if you have any questions about that, let us know here. Josh, any questions that are happening out there?
We've got a lot rolling in on hardware, which we're actually going to talk about here in a second.
Okay, let's go over to hardware.
And yeah, perfect. Okay, so lots of hardware questions rolling in. That's our next section here, and I think Harrison and I will tag team this one because there's some questions rolling in on headsets. We have kind of 2 different bundle solutions that we have really developed alongside Up360 to get a mobile case that is really designed for on-the-go usage, and then a mobile cart, which is more for in a school, moving from classroom to classroom, and kind of not leaving the building, but being still mobile at the same time. So the mobile case and what I have here on the screen, we're really excited about this solution in front of you. We're bundling in a Pelican case that has the custom foam inserts. Our new VR ready laptop, so the ByteSpeed Gravity Gaming Atlas. It's a new Intel based laptop that we launched last month. It's one of the best laptops that we've ever built and sold here at ByteSpeed. It power beyond what we've seen in a mobile solution at a really affordable price point, and it works great with the software here with Up360. We are bundling this solution with Oculus Rift. It's the Rift S is kind of what we found in the testing of both the laptop and how the headset play together, also interacting with the software. It's kind of been our best fit as far as really easy setup, also runs the experiences at that super high quality that we saw here in the videos, and is really just the easiest way through a bundle to be able to get things pushed out there in a mobile environment. The good thing about the Oculus Rift S is you don't need the base stations. So really inside the case, you're getting a laptop that is going to run the VR software. You're getting an Oculus Rift S with the controllers, extra batteries, the HDMI cable to link together the laptop to the headset, and some other of the peripherals that we're passing along with it. Power strip to be able to plug in battery rechargers, and kind of making sure that it's everything that you would need for your VR kit on the go is right there in the kit. The laptop specs, excuse me, it's an i7-9750H, and it has a 2070Q graphics card with 16 gigs of RAM and a 500 gig SSD. That is customizable to a point. We can do things with the RAM and storage, but you're always going to have that 2070Q graphics and the i7 processor in the laptop. It's got a high refresh rate screen as well. It's a 144 hertz display on a 15-inch laptop. It's awesome. It's on our website. I think we have a banner ad flashing through, so if you go to bytespeed.com, you can also see that there. All of this will be white gloved and set up with CareerLabs pre-installed. So that basically, if you order this kit, it would show up, you'd open it up, and it would be ready to use as soon as you get it. We're really excited about this solution. I think it's the best option for mobile VR that I've ever seen. And we're really excited that we're doing this alongside Up360, and that this is a great solution if you have students that are traveling, or a career center that is operating out of multiple buildings. This Pelican case and the mobile solution is going to be a really great fit for you. On kind of the more stationary but still mobile side, we have our VR cart. This is our newest VR cart at ByteSpeed. It is a height adjustable station that you can wheel around from classroom to classroom. The cool thing about this is that we can fit a full-size PC on this cart. So you're getting that VR-ready desktop with all of the processing power behind it, and you're not limited by the fact that we have to, cram a mini computer into a cart, or we can't fit full-size parts, like a full-size graphics card or a full-size motherboard inside this computer. We can have a full-size PC spec'd out, attached to the cart, and like I said, it's height adjustable. The peripherals are wireless, so it's really clean and easy to use. That cart again comes with the Oculus Rift. Again, it's kind of just the easiest way for us to get a really high quality headset attached to a mobile solution. That way you don't have to monkey around with base stations. You don't have to worry about some of the other added hardware needs that you would have with something like a Vive Pro, which is also a headset that works great for this solution and for VR, but the Oculus Rift is kind of what we're leading with as far as our mobile solutions here. Comes with a monitor and everything that you would need, and again, this is going to be white gloved, pre-set up with Career Labs and all of the VR software you would need, so that when you get it, you can launch this right away. We also, again, have the power strip in there with the rechargeable batteries, the face pad, the hygienic face pad replacements, and things like that. We have a flyer with all the information that we can send everybody that has these bundles on there. And really, as far as price point, because there's a couple of different things popping up in the chat, we would love to do a custom quote for you, because based on the specs of the machine, if you want upgrades or added storage or things like that, your price is going to change a little bit. But we would love to reach out and get you a custom quote for that, to really tailor it to what your use case is going to be. One of the cool things with this is because we're going to white glove and image everything, and we have the flexibility of changing the build, we can add things like more storage. If you're looking at doing more VR applications with this, we can add in another hard drive or more SSD space to be able to load in more apps for you, so that you're using Career Labs alongside all of those other great apps that Corinne was talking about, and that really fit in the different different spaces in education, whether it be middle school, high school, or college. So we're really excited about these two kind of mobile solutions. Like I said, the Pelican case comes with the VR ready laptop, all the peripherals you would need in the Oculus Rift S, and then the mobile cart comes with a full-size desktop, similar specs. So you'll have your AMD Ryzen 5 3600 or an i7, based off of kind of what we're looking at, and then a 2060 Super graphics card, 16 gigs of RAM, 500 gig SSD, right off the bat. And like I said, that configuration is customizable. We can change that based on what you're going to use it for, and we would love to do a custom quote for you if you're interested in pricing. Let's see, anything else? And now I think it's a great time. We've used about a half an hour. I would love to just kind of keep rolling, answering questions here that have come through. And really, Harrison, Corinne, feel free to unmute yourselves and jump in wherever. We'll kind of pick through and see. I see we have a raised hand though, real quick. Kristen, did your question get answered? Maybe type it in the chat if you still have a question there.
And while you're typing that, I'll just tackle two that I saw pop up. I did see one in regards to a couple, like, who are we, like, company-wise? Because there's a few different people involved in this. So I'll just quickly give you guys a quick overview of that. So I run a company called Up360. I founded it with a technical co-founder about 3-4 years ago now. And we are the ones behind the developing, the programming. We're actually, we're a team of 16, 17 people now. And we actually build these experiences from the ground up. Career Labs, we built in partnership with an educational or a career center called the Employment Education Center. So our organization and the Employment Education Center were the ones who actually developed Career Labs. And then ByteSpeed, Josh, you can give the intro on ByteSpeed so I don't butcher it.
Sure, yeah. ByteSpeed, we're an IT solutions manufacturer. We were founded in 1999, starting building desktops for high schools, and we've kind of evolved into a full service IT manufacturer. So we do desktops, laptops, servers. We work with networking partners and things like that to kind of be a one-stop shop for IT. And in the last 3-4 years, we've really expanded on our VR and esports, kind of the high-end computing solutions. And we're essentially a one-stop partner when you're looking for different IT needs. Okay.
And I did see another question. Corinne, I know you kind of quickly tackled it, but I'll kind of elaborate on it a little bit. It's what does one of these VR classrooms look like in 2020, or I mean in the future? I think ultimately where we'd like to see everybody go is exactly what Corinne said, having 10, 15 headsets within the school, similar to how a lot of schools have computer labs. But the alternative route that a lot of other organizations have been taking just to get their feet wet and just to really get the ball rolling is just 1 or 2 or 3 of these units, and share those amongst the school. And that really works well when you break the class into smaller groups and you have some groups working on more tactile hands-on experiences, some groups maybe on computers doing research, and then you have a group of 2 or 3 or 4 kids actually going through the VR activities, and you kind of move them around the stations or pull them out of class over the course of several weeks.
Yeah, we have really 3 ways that are being used in education today, and they actually have names. For example, we have something called the hot seat. So imagine we take this cart, put it in the front of the classroom. It's already got the monitor, but you could also display it on your larger smartboard or your white, pull down screen. And that way you can push the sound out. So now everyone's hearing. Hot seat means like maybe each student in your class gets 3 minutes. And as you're presenting and teaching, you're able to reference what they're seeing on the screen. You could guide the student to trying a different experience in VR during that time. We also can make VR as a pedagogy with it being in the back of the classroom where students are doing a lab and they might be working in terms of 2 or 3, and they could work on the lab together and then come back with regular instruction. But the most optimal, hopefully one day, I think most all of our schools will have it. To me, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, is when we have a lab. You don't want 1 headset per student because safety-wise, you need another student, what we call the guide on the side, stand by on the elbow, especially in younger grades, just so that we're all safe and all these great things. And that way, they can work together as a team, what they're seeing, what they're trying to find on their lab, and do all kinds of things along with their lesson plans. And think of this in every classroom, subject area and curriculum that can be tied in. Thanks.
We had a question in here about approximately how long does the training last? Corinne, your 1-day training is about 8 hours, and then that
your certification is 2 days.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and then they can be a VR certified educator, and that's really becoming a big thing in K-12 and higher ed today. We actually have one set up at Minnesota State University and on September 18th and 19th, but you can have one in your neck of the woods as well.
Harrison, this might be a question for you. Are these apps and programs adaptable to elementary school? Are you guys working with some more introductory stuff, or is this more kind of what age range is the software the best for?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we try to line ourselves up with what all the hardware manufacturers say, and they kind of have that cutoff at 13 and above. So we try to design it to work well with kids as young as 13, and again, not be so advanced or so technical that they couldn't pick it up and kind of start using it. It's very structured and kind of slow to introduce people to the concept so that they have the ability to take 20 minutes, take 30 minutes if they need it, or for people who might have some familiarity, might be able to get through an experience in 10 or 15.
Let's see. So Mary had a question in here about the videos. There's a link actually. Harrison, do you want to throw that in the chat again to those videos? Just so that they can have that as a resource. Let's see. Anita asked about what specs you needed. They have their school supports ByteSpeed. So the specs on the computers, as far as VR goes for right now, our kind of recommended spec level is something like an i5 or an i7, 16 gigs of RAM, a 500 gig SSD with a 2060 Super graphics card. So the desktop would kind of fall in line with those computer specs. And then the laptop actually is a mobile i7 with a mobile 2070Q graphics card. So it is kind of the mobile laptop equivalent of what the desktop specs hit. And like we have in here with warranty, you know, our high schools, you know, our 5-year warranty on all of our devices. So the laptop is up to 3 year, the desktop would be up to 5. So, and then we have, you know, our lifetime tech support on all of our devices. And, you know, if there's software questions or things like that, Up360 has those troubleshooting videos, and I'm sure, Harrison, do you guys have resources on there if we get stuck on the software side?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what the online technical training and the implementation training will support you guys with is just getting a good sense of how to get through certain things that might come up. A lot of times what we saw, especially in the early days, was somebody would go through an experience and then we would get an email or call just being like, oh, I can't get through this part. I can't make it to the next kind of quest, if you will. And it's because they're lined up in a very like specific way where in order to proceed to the next thing, you have to complete the previous task. So we've outlined that all in the manuals that can be downloaded offline.
Perfect. Let's see. There's a question again about what resources that we can send. So a couple of the things that will happen after the webinar is over. We'll send out a survey with a link to the recording. And then if you'd like more resources to be able to share with your administration, different members in your school, we can definitely supply those. There's a lot of great resources on our website. So again, ByteSpeed.com, the link's been thrown in there. We'd love to you know, share anything there. We have different flyers and different resources that we can send you directly as well, to kind of help out with the pitch to your school. And we can also set up another call if that would help, to be able to, you know, myself or Corinne or anybody from Harrison's team, if you're interested in Career Labs or any of the other general VR, we'd love to set up a call with you directly and talk about kind of what your situation is. And that way we can kind of give you the best resources, the info you need to be successful. And we'd love to work with you in that regard. Let's see, more questions.
I'll also throw something in there because I see a lot of people asking about Quest. Unfortunately, right now, there's no plans to adapt Career Labs to the Quest because the experiences are really designed to be that almost that photorealistic, the high fidelity, realistic lighting, realistic visuals. And the Quest right now, as it stands, is kind of mobile processor, so you're just not quite powerful enough to run this. Maybe on Quest 2 or Quest 3, we might see the ability for the experiences to be run on that. But as of right now, no plans. But that being said, so that you guys who have Quest don't feel left out, we are working on a little project with hospitality training, and we're going to need some people to basically test those experiences as they become available. So just make sure to leave your email if you want to test some stuff for the Quest and you have one. We don't want to leave you guys out fully.
Let's see. Will there be any products related to 3D modeling offered in the future? Harrison, do you want to talk about software? And then Corinne's shaking her head, so I'll let you kind of jump in here too.
Yeah, I think honestly we're going to probably say the same exact thing on this, but we don't want to build it because we've already seen some phenomenal stuff that's already out there, particularly Google products. And Corinne, I'll throw that over to you.
Hey guys, think of VR not only as a way to consume these amazing apps like Up360, but think of it as modeling and creating. So there is educational apps that are available at almost every grade level. So if you're, grade 6 and under, there are some apps out there, and connect with me and I'll show you all around that students at almost any grade level can create. Even in high school, where they can create with what I call the real stuff. Unity is available for schools for free, and they could actually, use some of the high-end stuff. So you could do everything from getting like a Ryko camera and shooting 360 of your neck of the woods or a historical item in your city or state, and then share it out to everyone in the VR space so they can kind of walk around and see that same environment. So it can be made interactive as well, with a lot of apps with drag and drop capabilities and onto coding in Unity and beyond. Sound great?
And I also just shared a really quick link to one of my favorite apps built by another company. Google has an experience called Google Blocks and Google Tilt Brush. Google Tilt Brush is like painting in VR. A lot of phenomenal ways to use that. And then Google Blocks is actually 3D modeling in VR. So if you guys have 3D printers or you want to build assets for Unity or for different VR games, you can actually make them in VR with Google Blocks and then be able to drag them into those other experiences. So that's one I highly, highly recommend.
Hey, if you get a chance, write on your to-do list, everyone, go to YouTube and type in Google Blocks and Tilt Brush. I think you'll be amazed watching the video. I just love watching some of the Tilt Brush videos of these artists designing things. It's just phenomenal. And even if you think you're not an artist or a student thinks they're not an artist, I think you would be with these tools.
Jeff had a really great question. If they already have VR units, is it possible to get just the programs? Absolutely. We would do kind of the same process. Reach out to us. We'll get a custom quote to you for just Career Labs, or if you're looking for other software, you know, we can absolutely do that for you. Same as with a hardware piece. You know, absolutely, you can get just software if you already have the existing hardware that's going to run it. So. Any other questions, everyone? I think we're doing a pretty good job of answering them as they come in. I know Corinne's been awesome at chatting in too. Let's see.
Yes, Anita, we do offer CEUs with 1-day training and 2-day full certification training.
Perfect. Okay. Well, you know, we still have VR certification at MSU as 1 grad credit. Yep, perfect. Great thing to ask to plug in there. You know, for continuing education or things like that, Corinne's training does cover that as well. Any other questions, everyone, before we kind of wrap things up here?
And I'll be sure to share our social media and Calendly booking link with Josh and the team as well, because anyone who is passionate about VR and wants kind of a behind the scenes look at how we actually make these experiences, feel free to follow us on socials. And if you guys are trying to get some more resources on how you actually build experiences, our CTO and co-founder is actually a professor of game design, and he loves sharing some of his knowledge. We build everything that we make in Unreal Engine, but Unity is definitely the best starter engine.
Awesome. Contact for a quote. Great question. So again, after the webinar is over, we'll send out the survey and the recording. We'll have information in there about how to reach out to ByteSpeed for a custom quote. And there will be contact information in there. It'll probably be mine, and we'll kind of go from there. We'll get you connected based on where you're at geographically with one of our 11 sales staff. The territory managers here at ByteSpeed are awesome. They're all super familiar with how this solution integrates in, and you know, we're really excited to work with everybody here. Harrison just linked up his information in the chat, and we'll definitely copy that in that follow-up email as well. I just, you know, turn it over to the other Corinne and Harrison just for some final thoughts before we wrap things up here.
Hey, I'll jump in. Hey guys. So as a college professor myself and a high school educator in Virginia, I have found that around the country and around the world, VR is really changing what we can do in the classroom. You know, it's one thing to, you know, look at a textbook, watch a flat YouTube movie, but we're finding that some of the studies have said, there was a study in California that had to do with a chemistry app called Sama. And what they did is they went in and took a chemistry class in high school and college with the app in VR and versus not having it. The group that had it the entire semester with VR had 11 percentage points higher letter grade wise. And that wasn't the A student going any higher. It was the C, D, and F student that really very often went up a letter or 2. This is something where they can visualize learning, they can see and they can touch. And it really is a game changer to get students engaged and really most of all empowered in education again. So meet up with me anytime. I'm going to put my email back in the address. Free webinar where I kind of show you around all the different things that VR could do for your school today. So guys, take it a level higher. Thanks. Harrison?
Awesome. And yeah, I'll just finish with, I mean, if we're going to make VR accessible to everybody and we're really going to drive this forward as the future of education, we need everybody here as kind of the first movers and the innovators. And the only way us as the developers of experiences will be able to know what you guys need is if we communicate. So make sure you share your ideas. Again, feel free to reach out to any one of us, myself personally, and just say, hey, look, we're looking for this, or we have this idea. And where there's a will, there's a way. And that's what Career Labs was all about. And that's how that project started. So we're always looking for new creative ideas and that people will actually get some practical use out of. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what everybody has to do with this stuff.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Harrison, for joining us. Corinne, pleasure as always. Everyone, thank you for joining us this morning. I know we kind of covered a lot with this solution, but we're really excited about where Career Labs can take us as far as VR goes, and just the ability, you know, Harrison touched on it, just the ability to give students the ability to explore new careers in a safe environment and actually be able to get their hands on some of that introductory information, a day in the life kind of what these different pathways look like. It's super powerful. The hardware, as Corinne mentioned, is multi-purpose and can be used for a number of different other resources. And we're really excited about where VR is headed. The software gets better every day, and so does the hardware. So watch for our follow-up email with the survey link, contact information for quotes and other contact for reaching out about content. And everyone, please just stay safe and healthy. You know, we're really looking forward to working with each and every one of you. And just thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us this morning. And with that, we'll kind of end things here. So thanks, everybody.
Ciao.